Good evening, all Atmas. Today we are going to see Bhagavad Gita Jnana Yajna, Chapter 3, Communion through Knowledge, the last two slokas. The senses are great. Superior to the senses is the mind, and superior to the mind is the intellect. What is superior even to the intellect is He, the Atman. So, this is explained in the Atma Siddhi Yoga yesterday. Senses, the five senses are there. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin are the organs. And these organs are recognized, these organs form part of Annamaya Kosha. And these organs are given the life by the Pranamaya Kosha, the energy body and chakras. This gives life only. But thing is, the recognition of the characteristics of what the eye sees is recognized by the senses. I am seeing the eye. A person who is blind, he also has got the eyes. He sees, but he cannot able to see anything. If he is opening his eyes and the eyeballs are there, but he cannot able to see, because the senses got disconnected. That's corresponding, the now connecting the eye and the brain, that is one stage, and the conscious subconscious in the the senses connecting with the mind, that conscious level has been disconnected. So, senses are the connecting force between the organ and the energy. The senses forms under Manonmaya Kosha. The life-driving energy force forms part of the Pranamaya Kosha, and the organs form part of the Annamaya Kosha. So, these three are coming together. Eyes, what it sees. The life-driving energy force it enables to make the eyes to see, and it is recognized by the senses. Oh, it's yellow color. Oh, this lady. This is my father. This is my brother. This is recognized by the senses. Senses, what it does, it only recognizes the person by see or watch all these things. And see, for instance, the animals are there. Animals have got five senses, we say. Five senses: eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin. So animals are moving. They watch their prey, and immediately they go and catch it. Because when they watch, mainly because the feeling of hunger makes them to run and catch the prey. So, eyes and feeling, the eye is the first, ear second, nose third, fourth tongue and speech, and fifth this feeling of hunger, feeling of lust. So, all these things form part of the first and fifth sense, second and fifth sense, third and fifth sense, fourth and fifth sense. So, all are connected by the fifth sense of feeling. So, once he sees the feeling of hunger makes to see its prey where it is. There, tiger, the long distance you see the deer. So, immediately deer is its prey. Only after catching it can satisfy its hunger. Immediately it rushes. So, it uses its senses, first sense and the fifth sense. And they are having the mind consciousness level. So, these senses work under the mind conscious level. And this mind conscious in this mind conscious level, the next thing, that's what it says. Senses are great. Superior to senses is the mind. So, this mind conscious level in which the buddhi, the senses operate. And superior to the mind is the intellect. Intellect is the buddhi. Buddhi is in the Vijnanamaya Kosha. Senses and mind is in the Manonmaya Kosha. So, Manonmaya Kosha and Vijnanamaya Kosha. Vijnanamaya Kosha, intellect is there. So, intellect, what it says, it recognizes, it discriminates what it sees. Suppose a person is coming, eye sees, the senses say, oh, the friend is coming, okay. So, intellect sees what it sees, is its eyes. How is his mind? How is his feeling? Is he coming with anger, or is he coming with casually, or is he coming seriously? This mind recognizes. And then it reacts accordingly. So, buddhi is superior. What is superior even to the intellect is the He. He means the Paramatma inside us. he lives in the Anandamaya Kosa. Manonmaya Kosa, Vijnanamaya Kosa, Anandamaya Kosa. These three are the main factors. This Annamaya Kosa and Pranamaya Kosa, they are only the life driving force to make the body to move. But recognizing, understanding, discriminating good and bad, recognizing is done by senses, and understanding and discriminating is done by buddhi in the mind consciousness. And the mind consciousness, we are told, is 4 levels: sensual, ego, atma, and divine consciousness. So when the buddhi connects with the divinity, divine, he, the Paramatma, then the divine consciousness will come to the mind. So the mind and buddhi, they are the factors responsible for the gunas in the person. Tamasic, Rajasic, Sattvic and divine gunas which we can acquire. And there the actions of mind, buddhi in the mind consciousness, that results in the karmas, good karma, bad karma, all these things. Whatever actions you have already done, that is the karma. And if you are doing it ignorantly by remaining in sensual ego consciousness, the buddhi, working in sensual ego consciousness, accumulates more karma while we are in the process of releasing the karma. That's what. So he is superior. That's why in Bhagavad Gita I told you the chariot refers to the body, Arjuna refers to the Jivatma soul, Krishna refers to Paramatma, and he is the charioteer. He is holding the 5 senses, the 5 horses, and the means connecting is the buddhi, which is held by the charioteer, the Krishna, Paramatma. So these senses should be kept under the control of Paramatma. By the buddhi, we should keep the senses under control when in the hands of Paramatma. Only when we totally surrender to him, he will take care, and he will guide us to go in the path of success and in the path of gaining the divine qualities in us, that is sattvic and divine gunas in us, overcome the devilish tamasic rajasic gunas from us. And that is the objective of human birth. That's why we have to always surrender to him. The inner going into deep samadhi state by way of going to the Anandamaya Kosa. Thus, knowing him who is superior even to buddhi. So, buddhi we told 2 portions, inner and outer. The inner layer we should always connect with him, permanently dedicated to him, surrendered to him, totally follow his instruction. When we totally surrender to him, in the outer part of buddhi, which is connected with the mind and the senses, which is doing the external duties, this will directly be always remain in the divine conscious level, so that whatever things happens, this is good, this is bad, okay. Good thing is happening because of good karma, bad thing is because of bad karma. And whatever bad happens, let me discriminate what is the cause for that, do Atma Vicharana, correct it, and next day go in the path of success. So that happens only when these 2 things, buddhi should be perfectly managed. You should always take deep inside the samadhi state, always remain inside the sthita prajna state, so that the external duties what one has to perform, they will be doing with full dedication, involvement, without attachment. And controlling the lower self with the higher. The lower self are senses, physical body. The senses, that is, senses is controlled by the mind and buddhi. Buddhi, the mind, senses, body, all comes. The higher self is the creator, Paramatma. Kill this foul enemy in the form of lust. So, by totally surrendering to him, Paramatma, deep inside us, by taking the buddhi, the inner side of the buddhi, deep into the Paramatma state, you always do the works externally, by which we will not get attached. We have to kill the foul enemy of lust. That is the very powerful. Lust is the thing, most powerful element which a man faces, that leads to one's downfall, that leads to one's accumulation of karma, that leads to one deviating from the path of spiritual growth. That's why in Sabrimala and the 18 steps, the first step is to eradicate the lust. And for removing this lust only, they have fixed this tradition, culture of going on penance for 48 days. One mandala vratam. Because If you, one mandala vratam, what they do, they wear black vesti and black tundu, they have morning bath, evening bath, and they wear mala with Ayyappa. So by doing that, they are disciplining their mind to follow celibacy. So celibacy during that time, most of the people who are going to Sabarimala, see, they are all very that is coolies who normally, after doing the hard work in the day, the evening when they first have the they go to Tasmak shop, first have the wine and then come home. With wine, they come home and have that lust, satisfying the lust, and then sleep and then do. So mostly they are doing the animal life, yeah, and enjoy, that's all. And enjoy physically all these things. So, to overcome this lust, that is the reason. The Ayyappa temple is, Lord Ayyappa is the god of celibacy and god of destroyer of lustfulness. So that's why in 48 days Vratam is kept, and people used to go there, and by doing the same act 48 days, so the mind gets tuned to that celibacy. And that too it has been kept at the fag end of the year, November to January. So that once they complete the Vratam and go to the temple and come back, they imbibe this 18 divine gunas which I already told. So the 18 steps, they remove the 10 tamasic, rajasic gunas and 8 tamasic gunas, and imbibe 18 divine gunas in them, that enable to carry on their duties during the entire next, from January to December, November, thoroughly, without any attachment, without any expectations, and fulfill their duties and release their karma. That is the objective with which this divinity in the Sabarimala pilgrimage has been kept. First to overcome the lust. So when they wear mala, even the wife who sees the person, that's why once a person wears mala, everybody call him Sami, because everybody should see God in him. And he himself should see God in him, and everybody should see God in him. Even the father or grandfather, they also fall on his feet because they see him as a God. The wife, she sees him as a God and not as a sexual object, because sex is common for both husband and wife, both man and woman at the time of the moha is there for both. Not it's restricted to man. Man get attracted by the beauty and the shape of the woman, and he get succumb to that lust. So he has to overcome the lust. Lust should be restricted. Having given birth to 2 children, and thereafter he should not become like an animal, dog, to go on having to satisfy lust, go on various women and other things having. So one has to have a controlled life. That way they are given this concept of bringing this. So lust is the most powerful element which one should overcome. This happens. That's why in our in our Vedic scripture it has again mentioned, one should pass from brahmacharya, grihasthashrama, vanaprastha, sannyasa. The 4 stages once pass. Because in this, by that way, a person should gain all the knowledges perfectly, both men and women. Lust is common for both men and women. See, in the brahmacharya life, not only man, boy or girl, both get education and gain the discipline knowledge which is needed for the livelihood, and also for, see, not that ABCD what you are learning is not going, not get the whatever subjects you are studying is not directly going to give the employment. The gaining the knowledge in school, studying the subject, understanding it, recapitulating it, all these are all the psychological training to activate your intellect. So IQ means intellectual quotient. So what you are seeing, what you are understanding, what you are storing, what you are reproducing, all these are all the psychological experiences which one should gain, that bring up their intellectual capacity, which is needed for them to make an analytical approach to analytical study, so that by that time once they complete the brahmacharya, they can able to understand what is right, what is wrong, at what stage how to behave with people. The interpersonal relationship is again in the school, that each and every stage of life, how we have to behave with children, how we have to behave with our colleagues or friends, how we have to behave with our parents, how we have to behave with the seniors. Each and every role how each and every person with whom how we have to behave. The more we behave in a disciplined and a lovely manner, there develops the leadership qualities, the divine qualities where people respect. So these are all the things what we gain. And in that, once you gain this knowledge, once you take the Grihastha Ashrama, there you get, once you qualified, once you become eligible bachelor, you get married. From the marriage, you gain the knowledge of Kama Shastra and Grihastha Ashrama Jivita. So that is needed for every person. One should not from brahmacharya to directly to sannyasa. After gaining this Kama Shastra knowledge in the Grihastha Ashrama, by 40 years, once you gave birth to children, thereafter you lose the interest in this Kama Shastra. Then later on, from 40 to 60, you focus on earning money to give a good education to children. Both husband and wife involved in bringing up the children, getting them employed, and then finally getting them married by 60. Afterwards, both of them, husband and wife, they take to the sannyasa and go in the path of spiritual growth. That is the way how human beings' life is decided based on our shastras. But some people, what they do when they are studying at the brahmacharya itself, some people get more affinity towards the spiritual knowledge, gaining spiritual knowledge. At that time, because especially when they attain teenage, the energy is very bubbling. It may take one to bad side or good side. When they turn towards spiritualism, they become sort bubbling. That makes them want to take sannyasa. So, without gaining the knowledge of the Grihastha Ashrama Vanaprastha, want to take sannyasa, then they will, if they get an affinity on the other side, they will lose the power of celibacy will be lost. That's why when Adi Shankara, he took sannyasa from brahmacharya, and he was preaching this Advaita philosophy. Then one lady asked her about what is Kama Shastra. He could not able to answer because he took from brahmacharya directly to sannyasa. He didn't have this knowledge. So once without this knowledge, your spiritualism will not be perfect, because you cannot preach it, because all common man have to pass a samsaric life. Without this knowledge, how this knowledge has to be disciplined, that has to be told. So that's why he asked for 1 month time, and he goes to penance, and at that time he saw a soul, a king, who is a bogi, always in a drink and having a lot of women, enjoy women, and didn't think about the country or people's growth, everything. So such person having led life with women only. Though wife was there, he didn't bother about wife. He take a lot of women she enjoy and have always drinks and that. He forgot about his role as a king to take care of these people. The entire country was in turmoil. At that time he dies. He in Samadhi Dhyan, he sees the king died. So immediately he tells his Adi Shankara tells his disciples to keep his body safe as he is going to do Parakaya Pravesam. That is, he wants to leave from his body and enter into the body of a king, because he has to gain the knowledge of samsaric life, Kama Shastra. So for that Grihastha Ashrama life he has to understand. So immediately he tells to safeguard this, and I will come shortly after gaining knowledge. 1 month, within 1 month I will reach it. So immediately he enters into the body of the king. Everybody in the palace were weeping. The doctor has come and he told, after seeing the nadi, he said the king has died. Everybody was weeping. The message has not gone to people. By that time, the Adi Shankara's soul comes and enters this body, and the king wakes up. But this king was different from the earlier king. He immediately wakes up. The women come, the people bring drink, nothing. So he sees his wife, and then he discusses with ministers. So he spends his time with his wife, gaining the Kama Shastra knowledge. At the same time, he spends time with his ministry, the king, ministers and generals and all, about the kingdom, about the welfare of the people, all these things. So he becomes a real king, perfect. Grihastha Ashrama he takes care, at the same time his duty as a king also he fulfills. Then the minister says, this person is not the same king. So immediately this is a divine soul. So first somebody, a divine soul has entered his body. So first identify the body and destroy it, so that this divine soul should remain in this king's body, so that he brings peace to the country, welfare and prosperity of the country. He asked the general to find the body. The general goes and finds where, and finally he comes in a forest where in the small hut the Adi Shankara's body was being safeguarded. The minister immediately asked the body to be burnt. So they put the fire and they put the sticks at the burning. By that time Adi Shankara realizes and immediately he can leave the body of king and come to the body of his own body and get up. And now he gains the knowledge of Kama Shastra and Grihastha Ashrama, and now he explained to the lady. So why? Because he didn't have that knowledge. So lust is in a restricted way. He explains what is a lust and how it has to be expressed in our day-to-day life in a very restricted way, and how we have to apply in the Grihastha Ashrama. He explains it very clearly. So lust should be done is needed only to the extent of using our body to bring another Atma into our body and take care of them and fulfill our duties. So this is how this principle of lust, and this can be attained only when you go deep inside and realize about the Paramatma. Then he will guide us to know what is the real meaning of Kama Shastra, what is the real meaning of life, and how we have to fulfill our duties. And by bringing another Atma, what is the duty we have to fulfill them and make them to fulfill their duties, so that all Atmas finally merge into Creator. That is the objective. So now we will see the next chapter in the next session. Thank you.